You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Do you want that real sports talk? Unfiltered, unsanitized? Well, you have found it. This is a revolution in radio. The realest, trillest sports talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show. This is sports talk for the people. Yeah! What's happening? What the deal? What the deal, Pickle? Like the old people used to say. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show, man. It is a throwback Thursday. Bring it back. Yes, sir. Bring it back. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. What up to all of my Stewies already in the chat room? Good morning to you. A good afternoon, depending on where you're at worldwide. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the realest, trillest, most entertaining, most unfiltered sports talk, guy talk show in America. You better believe that, baby. If you're new to the show, man, thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Pass the word. Tell people about it. We have a great time around here Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern, and today will be no different. We got a good show lined up for you. The Tree of Life isn't here today. Once again, she hasn't been here all week. She's been on vacation, so I've taken on a lot more responsibility as far as engineering the show and everything like that. But it's all good, man. I got my Stewie, so I'm good. Oh, for people that were following me on Periscope this morning and we lost the feed, I apologize about that. For some reason, there's not a great signal in the studio here today, so we had to shut down the Periscope prematurely. But follow your boy on Periscope, man. We have a great time. Whenever I bring the Periscope thing up, usually I'm out and about somewhere in the streets or whatever, and I usually do the pre-show on Periscope as well. So follow your boy on Periscope. All you got to do is go on Periscope, download the app, and then follow me at the Doug Stewart Show. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, obviously NBA free agency, in particular the Atlanta Hawks and what they did yesterday. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in the news, obviously. Lakers, Floyd Mayweather Jr. getting that guap. We'll talk about that. And also today, before we even get to that, though, here's your top five, conversation for today. So I've been reading online, and I'm sure you've seen it maybe as well on your social networks. People post a link or whatever to their page, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So there's two major sequels coming out of some storied franchises. All right, for one, Rocky is coming out with a new movie, the Rocky franchise, and it's called Creed. I think it's called Creed, and it's starring that new kid, Michael B. Jordan. And I call him a kid, but he's probably in his late 20s now. And I always refer to this dude as a kid because I remember him as the character Wallace on The Wire. But Michael B. Jordan is playing Apollo Creed's son. And you know the whole story, how they do it in Rocky, and Rocky's going to train the guy now. And it's the Rocky franchise. And I got to look and see how many damn Rocky movies this makes. So that's coming out. And I saw the trailer for that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and it looks pretty damn good. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I really haven't been excited about Rocky movies in a long, long time. Probably after the Clubber Lang, or maybe after the Ivan Drago Rocky. But I'm going to guess there's probably been 6 or 7 different Rocky movies in the franchise. So I'll find out exactly for you on that later. So that's coming out. And then there's also a remake of Roots coming out. That's right. Now, there was a lot of discussion on my Facebook page, or maybe one of my friends' Facebook page, about, people not liking the idea of them doing a sequel to Roots or a remake of Roots. And I think Tree actually talked about it one day on the show. So from what I understand, it's not actually a remake. They aren't doing the original Roots series over. They're kind of taking off at the end where Alex Haley's family history and going forward, I guess, in that saga. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So from what I understand, the great Lawrence Fishburne is going to play Alex Haley. And so there's going to be a Roots remake / sequel, prequel, or something like that. So it got me thinking, as I do in the summertime, as we've done in the summertime over the last 15 years, when we get hot and heavy into entertainment. Give me the top 5 movie sequels of all times. There's been a lot of great movie sequels, and you know the thing with sequels, 9 times out of 10, the sequel sucks. It's a money grab. People are trying to, in Hollywood, just trying to capitalize on the success of the first one, and so let's do a 2. Let's do a 3. And usually they're watered down from the original, and it's not good. But there have been a couple of sequels in movie history that have been very good. Some of these, I'm looking at my list here that I put together, some of these might even be better than the original. So I'll talk about that all day long today. What are your thoughts as far as great movie sequels? Now, this is one of those categories and one of those top 5s where clearly, it's your taste. It's whatever you like in movies. So, there have been probably a gazillion movies made in the history of movies. So a lot of this stuff that you might come up with that were a great sequel, I may not have even seen the original or the sequel. But mine are pretty much in the popular category as far as movies. So we'll talk about that all day long today. Give me a call, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. And also, free agency kicked off real hot and heavy yesterday, the first day of free agency. And the biggest story I guess everybody's talking about in the media and across the board is the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge has, quote, unquote, shunned the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, before I even get into my thoughts about the Lakers, scoring another 0 again this year in free agency, let me just say this before, and I'm not going to dwell on this. If you're new to the show, I'm a Lakers fan. Been a Laker fan since probably, 82, 83 or something like that. David Stern did all of this. It's all David Stern's fault. Punk-ass David Stern is the reason why we are in this position right now. Okay, calm down. Calm down. All right. But I just want to make that point for the record before we talk about LaMarcus Aldridge and anybody else in the Hawks or Kevin Love or anything. I just want to make sure that you remember that the reason why the Lakers are down right now and the reason why they can't seemingly find their way is because of that Chris Paul trade that was nixed by David Stern. It's all his fault. That set off a domino effect that had such drastic implications that we couldn't measure it at the time. But it set off a domino effect once again. We didn't get Chris Paul, so then we had to roll the dice on punk-ass Steve Nash. And then we had to try to still get a bigger star to go with Steve Nash. So we gave a deal, or we made a deal to bring in Dwight Howard for only 1 year. And even though he's a punk, he's one of the better punks in the NBA. So we were counting on him to be there for a couple of years. And he left for Houston. And all of this, you can point back to the beginning when David Stern nixed that deal for Chris Paul. And I just don't want you, the Stewies, to forget that. I don't want you to forget that. Now, as far as LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm done with that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. As far as LaMarcus Aldridge, I say the same thing about him as I said about Dwight Howard when Dwight Howard left is, you mean to tell me you don't want to play in Los Angeles? You don't want to live in the city of Los Angeles? You mean to tell me that you don't want to play for an organization that has 16 world titles? You mean to tell me you're scared and you're intimidated by playing with the Mamba? That's what you're trying to tell me, LaMarcus Aldridge? Well, that's a you problem. It's a you problem. All right? And if you don't want to come play with Vino for his last year or two, then that's your you problem. It is. Who wouldn't want to play with one of the greatest of all times? Why wouldn't you want to play with one of the greatest of all times? So go ahead, take your punk ass off to New York or wherever the hell you going. That's fine. Go ahead. Peace. Get to stepping. And don't cut the corners. Kick rocks. Whatever. We ain't scared. It's going to be okay. It's probably going to be okay. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. Tell me it's going to be okay. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! This is your boy Doug Stewart, one half of the Two Live Stews. Check out my brand new daily show and podcast that airs live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Spreaker.com. That's the Doug Stewart Show daily at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Spreaker.com. Or check out the podcast anytime, 24/7. If you're not stewing, what in the world are you doing?
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm all right. We good. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, the number is 404-382-0338. Want to get your thoughts on NBA free agency? The easy way to be a part of the Doug Stewart Show, though, is to hit me up in the chat room on Spreaker.com. So follow the show on Spreaker, and then hit the little chat bubble, and bam, you're in the world of the Stewies. I call it Fantasy Island, the Fantasy Island of sports talk chat on Spreaker.com. So jump in there and be totally interactive. This segment is brought to you by National Debt Relief. They're one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. All right, I repeat, an alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. So give them a call. Try this out before you go to that extreme. So give them a call at 844-828-4975. Once again, that's 844-828-4975. And make sure and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. All right, talking NBA free agency. We'll talk about the Atlanta Hawks here in a second, the Cleveland Cavaliers. We started off, though, talking about the Lakers and this story coming out that LaMarcus Aldridge, after a meeting with the team, in effect just scratched him off his list. So we'll get into that a little bit more, get your thoughts on that. Also, a little bit later, man, y'all heard about this Rick Ross story? I haven't really talked about it on the show, but there's been a development. He actually made bond. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. But also, the big thing today we're doing on a summer-type series thing is the top 5 movie sequels of all times. Coming in at number 5 on my list is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Yes! All right, so let me give you a little synopsis what was going on. You remember Terminator, the franchise Terminator. Judgment Day is the 1991 sequel to the original Terminator. In this, okay, after the machines failed to prevent, you remember the machines, which is the Terminator thing, to prevent John Connor from being born, they tried again in 1995, this time attempting to kill him as a child with a more advanced Terminator, the T-1000. Y'all remember the T-1000? John sends back a protector for his younger self, a reprogrammed Terminator. That whole Terminator thing, and there's a new one out right now, which for some reason, once again, a lot of the times these franchises, these movie sequels, they get watered down, and after like 1 or 2, I don't even like pay attention to it when they have 3, 4, and 5. So they've got a new one out right now, old ass Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have no, want to go and see this movie. But the second one I remember, and for all of these movies that I'm talking about, there was really no type formula that I came up with to pick these movies. I just remember, like, the movies that came to my mind as far as sequels, I wrote them down. It was simple as that. And I remember saying to myself after these movies, that was a pretty good sequel to be a sequel. And this was a pretty good one as well. The special effects in those Terminator movies were bananas. I'm trying to see right now, how many have there been? One, the Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Rise of the Machines in 2003, Terminator Salvation in 2009, and then they have the new one coming out this year, Terminator Genesis. So there's been 4 already. This will make 5. Damn good sequel, at least. I think I saw Rise of the Machines, which was the 3rd one. I did not see Terminator Salvation, which was the last one in 2009, and I definitely won't go see this one. Yeah. I don't know. If you're somebody that saw the last one and you plan on seeing this one, I mean, has it still been good or whatever? Because for some reason it lost a little bit of luster after the 3rd one for me. So I really didn't want to get down with none of that Terminator stuff anymore. All right, 404-382-0338. Oh, a big thing about the show, if you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, is we read a lot of chat. All right, we read a lot of chat messages on the show in the chat room, from the chat room. So when you post in there, probably in the next segment, I'll start reading a lot of your chat and getting your thoughts on everything that we are talking about on the Doug Stewart Show. So this is the way that it's coming across from sources saying less than 24 hours after he met with the Lakers, in which Kobe Bryant was present as well. Kobe gave a little, I think they said it was like a 3 to 5 minute pitch where he said that he envisioned them and LaMarcus Aldridge allegedly. See, I don't know how much of this stuff is really true or not. It would be great if LaMarcus Aldridge signed with the Lakers and made everybody, all these quote-unquote sources look like fools, you know. But allegedly he met with the Lakers and Kobe asked him, or he asked Kobe, how did he kind of envision, you know, him playing with him for the team. And Kobe says, you know, we could basically be like me and Pau Gasol were. We played off each other. We won a couple of rings together as him being the big man, me being the shooting guard. And you could, in effect, be Pau Gasol, you know, 3.0. And the terms that they are using for that whole pitch was he was not engaged or he wasn't feeling it to some degree or whatever. And you know, once again, I mean, that's fine. I mean, good luck to the young man. He's a great player, obviously. I just don't understand why you're scared of greatness. I don't understand why you're scared of the big stage. And I think that says a lot about this younger generation. You know, you're going to get paid about the same money as any other place you go to as far as free agency. Let's just assume, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, let's just assume right now for this conversation, and it's probably the case, that any other team you go to, you're going to be paid the same amount of money that the Lakers are going to offer you. Same term as far as years, same money. You know, you're not going to play with Kobe. And then also remember this as well. Kobe's only going to be there 1, maximum 2 more years. Depending on what happens this year, on whether he shuts it down or not, and whether the team wants to offer him another 1-year deal or whatever, you're on a 1-year basis thing right now with Kobe Bryant. So whether you think that Kobe is this demanding a-hole type of a guy, which he probably is, you're only going to have to play with dude for a year. So what you scared of? What are you scared of? You don't want to play in the bright lights of L.A.? I mean, who does that? Like, who does that? And I guess maybe I just come from a different era. I come from a different breed where I wanted to be on the biggest stage possible. Or my mindset was to be big and not settle for second best. Why would you not want to play with one of the top 2, 3, 4, 5 best players to ever play the game? Or at least 2 guards. Let's just say that. Why would you not want to do that? Why would you not want to live in Los Angeles? I mean, the weather's perfect. I mean, there's movie stars, swimming pools, and all of that. Like the Beverly Hillbillies. Why would you not want to go there? The organization, once again, as I said at the top of the show, has 16 world championships. They're like the Ric Flair of the NBA. 16-time world champion. Why would you not want to play for them? But the mindset now is these dudes, they don't want to be great. They don't want to be great. In my opinion, they don't want to be great. Now, supposedly, the front runner is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, yes, the San Antonio Spurs are a tremendous organization, one of the best organizations in sports, as evidenced by all the titles that they've won since Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan have been there. No shade on any other franchise, especially the San Antonio Spurs. But, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you're talking about the Lakers. You're talking about the Lakers. You're talking about the New York Yankees in baseball. You're talking about the Dallas Cowboys in football. It is what it is. All right, that's a big-ass brand. And then being in the city of Los Angeles, I just don't get it, man. What are your thoughts? I mean, am I crazy? I know a lot of you think I'm crazy. A lot of you think that I'm just a overbearing fan of the team, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And now this is like 3 years in a row that this thing has happened where we haven't got one of the top free agents. Now, there's still time to go. Actually, these players can't sign a deal until July 9th, so there's a good ways away. But a lot of these dudes, I think over 30 dudes committed yesterday to deals. We'll talk about a couple more here in a second with the Atlanta Hawks and some other teams. But it looks like right now that the Lakers are going to come up empty once again. And it's all because of David Stern's ass. All right, I said I wasn't going to bring David Stern back up in that Chris Paul thing, so I'm really going to move on from that. But, yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge, man, supposedly not going to go play for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Rockets are one of the teams also on the radar. All of the Texas teams, because he's from Dallas, I believe he is. And so all of the Dallas teams, also they're talking about the Knicks slightly as well. It's going to be very interesting. Now, if you go to San Antonio, I mean, and a big factor in the team that he's going to go play for, LaMarcus Aldridge, supposedly, is the ability to win. You go to San Antonio, I mean, that's a nice little combination with you and Kawhi Leonard, but Tim Duncan is almost done. Tony Parker is long in the tooth as well. Manu Ginobili has been done for the last couple of years, really, to be honest with you. So how much of a better situation is that? We got the D'Angelo Russell kid. We're getting back Julius Randle. Vino's going to be there for another. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of upside. You know, I just think that these cats are soft today, Duke. I think they're soft. I don't want to be, challenged by Vino. I don't want Kobe screaming and yelling at me. But all Kobe wants to do is win. Can you deny that? Even as a Kobe Bryant hater, can you deny all that dude wants to do is win? You can't do it. You just cannot do it, man. So it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. Not just disappointing because I'm a Laker fan. Forget about that. It's disappointing because it seems like our youth today don't have that drive that we did in yesteryear. And that's a bigger problem. That's the biggest issue here. And I know it might sound like that I'm a sulking Laker fan, but that's not the case. I think this is a bigger judgment on America. That these young players don't want greatness, man. That they'll settle for mediocrity. I think that's a problem, man. That's the bigger issue here. That's the bigger issue. That's the bigger issue. What are your thoughts? All right, when we get back from the break. When we get back from the break, man, all I'm going to do is read chat. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, sir. I'm not preaching. I'm just talking, man. And I'm keeping it real. That's a huge issue with that whole scenario. That you don't want to go play for the Lakers. You don't want to play with Vino. Vino's too demanding. The Mamba's too demanding. The Mamba wants me to work out 100% in practice. Vino always gets up my ass. And that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. There's a problem with that, man. When we get back from the break, man, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks and what they did yesterday. Hey, man, I understand. It's as simple as that. We'll talk about that, and I'll read more of your chat, or I'll start reading your chat. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's Doug at theDougStewartShow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's Doug at theDougStewartShow.com. Let's do some business. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
All right, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. Top 5 movie sequels of all times. I'd like to get your thoughts on that as well. Talking about NBA free agency, we'll hit the Atlanta Hawks here in a second and what they did on yesterday. Lost one, got one. This segment is brought to you by Ticket Liquidator. That's right, man. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers to give you the opportunity to attend the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. The goal is to bring you more tickets, better service, and lower prices so that you can be there to witness the best of the world of entertainment, culture, sports, whatever it may be. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, give them a call at 855-638-3034. Once again, that's 855-638-3034. And please tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes, sir. Hey, man, have you created your DraftKings account, man? I'm hot and heavy in the baseball season in DraftKings, where you play for real money. If you know players and you know how to put together a team, you can be a bootleg quasi-GM. You can actually make real cash. You've seen the stories online and the pictures of dudes that made over six figures playing fantasy sports for money. Create you an account on DraftKings. Use the promo code STEW. That's STEW. And anything up to $600, me and DraftKings will match it. All right. So if you put in $600, you'll be wagering and playing fantasy sports with $1,200. That's DraftKings.com. Promo code STEW. All right. So top 5. And thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it. I'm seeing a lot of this chat here, and y'all disagree with me. I didn't expect anything else about this whole LaMarcus Aldridge situation and the state of these young players in the NBA. It just, to quote a famous rapper, they just soft, Duke. They just soft. So we'll get back into that. I'll read some of your chat here in a second. But we also talk about the top 5 movie sequels of all times. I mentioned earlier how it looks like a pretty good sequel. I'm actually excited to see this Rocky movie. The new Rocky movie called Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan, who, once again, his star has really brightened, man, over the last 12, 13 years, ever since The Wire left. And as a matter of fact, I think he died off on The Wire the first season or maybe the second season. But yeah, he's obviously blown up and doing big things. But the trailer looks pretty good. And also there's going to be a sequel to Roots. So it got me thinking about sequels. So number 5 on my list of top 5 movie sequels was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Coming in at number 4, and I know I'm going to get a lot of griping about this, but coming in at number 4 is The Godfather Part 2. I know. Now, let me give you some background. And the studio audience is booing. And I know a lot of y'all listening to the show right now and in the chat room are mad because you probably had this as the number 1 sequel of all times. If you talk to dudes in particular, they always talk about The Godfather Part 2. But you remember a couple of days ago, I already said I wasn't the biggest fan of the Godfather series. First of all, the damn movie came out when I was 3 years old. But this is one of those movies that has really stood the test of time. I went back and watched it, at a very young age. I don't know, probably 8, 9, or 10. When Godfather 2 came out, it was, when did it come out? 1974. So in 1974, I was 5 years old. I was born in 69, so I was 5 years old. And so I didn't see The Godfather then. So just like a lot of y'all listening to the show that are in my age demographic, you probably went back and watched it like in the 80s or something like that, heard all of the fuss about The Godfather. So that kind of worked against it for me as well. Fantastic story, great story. And if you remember what happened in Part 2, which a lot of people said was better than Part 1, is that where Michael Corleone kind of took control of the family. Robert De Niro came in. And then it also had like some flashbacks of his pops, Vino, when he was back in Italy and how he came up and why he became the way he was. He became a gangster or whatever. So it's a great story. It's a fantastic story. But once again, I'm a Goodfellas fan. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas. But much respect to The Godfather and Godfather 2 in this particular case. But I'm not as big a fan as most dudes are of the Godfather series. I'm just not. I'm sorry. 404-3. But this is my list. This is my list. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me to Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. The Atlanta Hawks, on yesterday, man, they lost a player. They lost Amari Carroll, who agreed to a deal with the Toronto Raptors. 4 years, $60 million. First of all, let me say congratulations to that young man. $4 years, $60 million. And I feel good for him because you remember he hurt his knee during the playoffs, and everybody was speculating that if he had tore his ACL on how much money he was going to lose, and it actually worked out. He actually even came back and played in that series. I'm happy for this young man. He was a journeyman. He's been on a couple of different teams since he's been in the NBA. Not highly sought after when he came out of college. Where'd he go, Missouri or something like that? So the young man's going to get his money. But I also got to give a Buster Award on a Thursday to the Toronto Raptors. You giving Damari Carroll $15 million a year? What? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. You can't give Damari Carroll $15 million a year? But I guess it more so talks to the point that where we're at in the NBA right now. Some of these contracts, man, are so unbelievably bad. Did you know Damari Carroll made like not even 4.5. He made like $450,000 last year. Now a solid player, really flourished under Coach Bud and the system that they run here in Atlanta. I mean, he's a good defender. I mean, he's a kind of a jack of all trades. He does a little of everything pretty good. I mean, but he's not an upper echelon player. Dwayne Wade tried to get $15 million. Now, Dwayne Wade is older. I get that. But what? Damari Carroll got $15 million a year guaranteed? Are you freaking kidding me? Wow. is really a good time to be an NBA basketball player. That's all I got to say, man, because when I heard that, I was like, are you joking? Are you really joking? And so we lose a valuable piece, and I guess that's why they brought in Tim Hardaway Jr., because maybe they thought that they were maybe they heard through the grapevine that DeMar probably was going to leave the team, and they went and made the deal for Tim Hardaway Jr. I hope that Tim Hardaway Jr. can have a resurgence in his career back to his form of his rookie year in New York. We'll see. And I believe in Coach Bud. And what he's doing there with that team, culture-wise as well. But so I ain't mad at them for not giving that man $15 million. Once again, congratulations to him. Good luck going forward, except for when you play the Hawks and when you play the Lakers. But $15 million is absolutely ridiculous. One bright note, though, for the Hawks, Paul Millsap decided to return as a free agent, agreeing to a 3-year deal worth $59 million. Wow. Congratulations to him. So, congratulations to Paul Millsap. There used to be a point in time that the Atlanta Hawks could not get a free agent to come here. They couldn't get a free agent from the team to stay here. And so I think this is a good sign going forward. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, that Paul Millsap did actually agree to come back and play for the team. Now, that being said, just like in the last example we talked about DeMar Carroll, you paying Paul Millsap $20 million a year? What? Are you kidding me? Yes. And the prices of these guys have been driven up by, a lot of it is money from TV deals or whatever. There's supposed to be a new salary cap, I think, in 2017. But listen, come on, man. Let's be real. You paying Paul Millsap $20 million a year? He's not a center. You can really make the argument. It's not even an argument. I think most people would say he's not the best power forward even on the team. He's solid. He's so big and long, though, he can't really guard threes. So, and when I'm talking about three, I'm talking about small forwards. You paying Paul Millsap $20 million only in America, Jack. Unbelievable. So let me ask y'all this. I guess Paul Millsap is quantified. I guess he's quantified as a power forward. If you paying Paul Millsap $20 million, just ask yourself this question, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. How much would you have to pay Karl Malone in the prime of his career, or Charles Barkley in the prime of his career right now in 2015 if they giving $20 million to Paul Millsap? What, $40 million? $50 million? That sounds about right to me. What? Paul Millsap making, once again, I'm not throwing shade. I'm happy for the young man. I'm happy for anybody to get their money. But $20 million for Paul Millsap is so ridiculous, it doesn't even make sense. Yes, sir. Hey, now listen, we needed him. We needed to keep him, especially after you losing DeMar Carroll. But my gosh, I've said it for many, many years when everybody talked about how we had to pay Joe Johnson. When I say we, talking about Atlanta fans, people in this city to support the team. We had to pay Joe Johnson the amount of money we did. No, we didn't. No, the hell you didn't. And to me, it's almost like the principle of the matter. The principle is that in my heart of hearts, I know that Joe Johnson wasn't worth the money that we gave him. And in my heart of hearts, I know that Paul Millsap, in relative terms, ain't worth $20 million a year. Hey, I'm sorry. And that might just be a too real perspective of a guy on radio with a microphone in front of him, but that's just real. $20 million a year? Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding, right? The day is, it's not April 1st. It's not April Fool's. What the hell? All right, I'm going to get your thoughts on all of this, everything I've talked about for the first couple of segments, man, coming up. And read all of your chat. That's all we're going to do is read chat in the next segment, man. I see y'all out there in the chat room. Thank you so much for being totally interactive. My gosh. Don't say that I'm hating. Don't say that. Really and truly, I'm happy for these brothers. And I did say brothers. BROVERS. CAS. But this has got to stop. This has got to stop at some point, man. Hey, don't go away. Keep it locked. The Doug Stewart Show. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right. I said billions with a B, okay? A B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobilized, optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their banner link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for more details. First of all, thank you for listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. I mean, come on, man. I mean, let's be real about this. Let's just be real about this, man. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining your boy. Throwback Thursday. All right, let's just be real about this. Paul Millsap. I think Paul Millsap, and this isn't to discredit him, but wouldn't Paul Millsap, like, a guy picked, like, at the end of the NBA draft when he came out of college? Had some great years for the Utah Jazz. And once again, he's a good player. He's a very good player. But in relative terms, you giving Paul Millsap $20 million? God bless America. Speaking of which, 4th of July this weekend. Be careful on them streets. All right, so if you're not from Georgia, well, first let me say this. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, talking NBA, free agency, also talking about the top 5 movie sequels of all times on the show today, having a little fun with that. But if you're not from Georgia, let me tell you this. Georgia, for the first time, for the first year ever, is now allowing the sale of real fireworks. When I say real fireworks, I'm talking about stuff that you light up and it shoots off in the sky and blows the hell up. I'm talking about blockbusters. I'm talking about M80s or whatever those little bombs are. All before, and I've been here, once again, this is my 20th year here. I'm from the state of South Carolina, where when we come out of the womb, we blowing ish up with fireworks. All right? When I was growing up, 4th of July, big time fireworks. New Year's, we pulled out the shotgun and brought the New Year's in with a bang, quote unquote. But none of that went down in Georgia until this year. What I'm projecting, and I'm knocking on wood, and I hope I'm wrong about this, what I'm projecting is that so many little kids are going to lose their fingers this weekend because they're not experiencing this. They are not experienced in real deal fireworks. And I hope that's not an issue, man. They already, I saw a story the other night on the news, and they're saying, like, during this time of the year, they're expecting, during the holiday weekend, the 4th of July weekend, they're expecting 2 out of every fires that the fire department responds to are going to be because of fireworks. And especially now with the fact that they got the real fireworks. Before this year, they had like this crappy stuff that just made loud noises. And it was crap. I mean, it took the fun away from 4th of July to me, from a boy that grew up with that. So going to be a very interesting year this weekend, holiday this weekend. So be careful out there, man. If you got kids, monitor them. Don't let your kid just grab some fireworks and start blowing stuff up, some firecrackers, and some M80s and real-time fireworks. Don't you let your kids blow their damn fingers off. I'm telling you, be careful with that stuff, man. Trust me, I've had a couple firecrackers blow up in my hands, had that black spot on my fingers for many, many years before it would go away. Like a cartoon or something, like I got my face blown off by a Daffy Duck or something like that. So be careful out there with them fireworks is the bottom line, man. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. What are your thoughts on NBA free agency? The Hawks also got Tiago Splitter, center from the San Antonio Spurs, to agree to a deal to come here and play center. I'm okay with that. I mean, it seems like when Splitter has been in the game for the Spurs over the last couple of years, he makes things happen. He's a big body, kind of reminds you of a Timothy Mozgov or something like that. Maybe not as athletic as Mozgov, but a big body. I think that's a step up from Pero Antic, right? So I'm okay with that. We'll see. And also, obviously, it's very attractive the fact that Coach Bud's, history is from the San Antonio Spurs under the Greg Popovich coaching tree. So, Tiago Splitter is going to fit in exactly for what he likes to do here for the Atlanta Hawks, so that's a good thing as well. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read some of your chat here from Uncle Mike. Doug, you're wrong. He says if you don't pay him $20 million now, you have to pay him $25 when the cap changes. He's not worth it. Hey, stop right there. Let's highlight that. Uncle Mike, when you came out with this statement, with this post, it seems like you disagree with me vehemently. You said, Doug, you're wrong. But then right in the middle, you said he's not worth it. That's my only point. My only point is he's definitely not worth it. I think 90% of these guys aren't worth the money that they're making. When you put into perspective how much a teacher makes or how much a doctor makes when they're saving lives, but that's neither here nor there. I understand the economics of the thing. I understand why these guys make this money, because they got that revenue coming in to support it. I get that. But you agree with me, okay? If you've watched basketball and you've seen some of the greatest players of all times, you literally could not pay a Charles Barkley or Karl Malone or any other power forward that you talk about. Okay, if you're giving Paul Millsap $20 million a year, how much would Kevin McHale be worth today in 2015? $70 million? Come on, man. He's not worth it, but it is what the market is paying. I understand that, brother. I understand that. From, who do we got here? From Togo, Uganda. You're right. Only in America, because you damn sure can't get that in any other country. Insert here. In talking about these guys' salaries. From Dollars and Cents and Love It from Cali at the way. Why? But go to L.A. and Love is from Cali. That's why he's not going to L.A. Oh, I guess he's talking about, this is why I need Tree here, because I'm reading this straight off of the thing, and sometimes I make grammatical errors, and it screws me up in reading it. But I guess he's talking about Kevin Love re-signing or going to re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the fact that he's from L.A., you would think that would be an attractive place for him to go. There's a lot of benefits for him going to L.A. The only benefit to him staying in Cleveland is, well, it's two things. Obviously, it's a better chance to win a ring because they have a great team, obviously, in making it to the NBA Finals this year. and also they can pay him more money. So I kind of understand that. But yeah, he played at UCLA. He could be the man there. Literally, when Kobe steps down, he would have been the first option. So there were a lot of valid reasons for him to go to LA, but it's not going to happen. He's going to stay at Cleveland. We'll talk more about that in a second. From J-Rob, you can't do that, Doug. Compare different generations. The TV money the NBA is getting after next year is completely different then versus now. And you're exactly right. My whole diatribe about how much these guys are getting paid today in relative terms to guys back in the day, you're totally right. I totally understand it, but that's kind of what we do on Sports Talk Radio. From Nino the Rhino, that's it, fat boy. These teams will be printing money. From Montana Jones, you sound like the typical Laker fan, Jungo. From Sandman, got to pay him if you want him to stay. If you didn't, Orlando would have. And talking about Paul Millsap, there was a deal on the table, and I need to go back and look at it. I should have already done that, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, where the Orlando Magic, I think, their deal was about the same, or maybe even a little bit more, but they were going to give him an extra year. He's getting 3 years here for the Atlanta Hawks, and they were going to give him a 4-year deal, maybe at a slightly less money. I'll go back and take a look at that. It's just incredible, man. From that ninja, Roots needs a remake or continuation because the original was not even close to how horrific and graphic that period in history actually was. Hurts to watch, but you need to know your past to understand your current position. Oh, yeah. I haven't made my little daughter do it yet, but I urge my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter grew up with her mother in South Carolina, and I urged her many times. Every year Roots came on BET. I give her a call like, listen, you need to watch Roots. Have you watched it yet? And so she has watched Roots. I made my middle daughter, who's about to go to college right now, watch Roots. I just think you need to see it. You need to see it. You need to get a good concept of really how it went down. I mean, I totally believe that, so I agree with you on that ninja. From Dollars and Cents, he says, yeah, strippers about to make a come-up since TV money done went up. Sheesh. Yeah. Yeah, it's well known that NBA players frequent strip joints. I mean, we know that. From Jungle Brothers. So let me get this straight. Because the Lakers don't get up free agents, define top and tell me how many top LeBron-level players switch franchises besides LeBron. Because Lakers didn't land free agents, it's Kobe's fault, not the general manager, Mitch Kupchak. Go sit your ass down somewhere. I hear what you're saying. I'm not exactly on what you're saying, though, Jungle. Appreciate that. From Montana Jones, glad brothers getting their money. Baseball players been doing this forever. I agree. From J-Rob, hell, Millsap getting close to $20 million a year. He's not worth that much. That's TV money. From Harvey Scott, so y'all really think Kobe has nothing to do with players not wanting to come play with? It's well documented that some players have said that out of their own mouth. I do think that it does seem like right now that the organization is in flux ever since the Dr. Buss died a couple of years ago. It seems like there's been turmoil. It seems like the organization is unstable. I don't know what portion of the blame you put on Kobe. I do believe a lot of these cats are intimidated by Kobe. You say, and the media says they don't want to go play with Kobe Bryant because he's an a-hole. I say they're intimidated. Why would you not want to play with a guy that's going to push you to the limit, that's going to want the best out of you? That was the big beef between him and Shaq many, many years ago, is that he felt like Shaq was half-assing it. I mean, if you're a team, if you're a fan of a team, don't you want all your players with that attitude? Don't you want all your players to have the attitude that we're the best, we should be the best, we should be contending for titles every year, and I expect greatness out of everybody on this squad? I expect you to put in 100% effort every single day, practice, game, it doesn't matter? Wouldn't you want that? And if that's what these cats aren't going to the Lakers for, if it's for that reason because they feel like Kobe going to, once again, this doesn't sound right, but it's not going to come out right, but you get it, because Kobe's going to be up in their ass? If you got a problem with Kobe being up in your ass, and once again, I got to figure out a better way to say that because that doesn't sound right, then that's a you problem. That's a you problem, and I think it's a generational problem as well, man. Who the hell? I mean, Dwight Howard had everything at his beck and call. Kobe only had another 2-3 years after Dwight got there. What does Dwight have, another 5 or 6 years in the NBA? It would have been his team. But no, he'd rather go, in effect, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, he'd rather go to Houston to be second fiddle. Huh? Okay, you're going to be second fiddle. Would you rather be second fiddle on the Lakers or the Rockets? Would you rather be second fiddle on a team where the main star is about to retire, or go to a team with a young star and James Harden has got another 10, 12, 13 years? Whatever, man. That's lame, man. You soft, Duke. You soft. And I hate it, man. I absolutely hate it. All I'm going to do is read chat when we get back. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. All right, so tomorrow, obviously your boy going to take a little vacay. Like all y'all are probably as well. You probably won't even be in front of a radio or your computer or whatever. So tomorrow we will replay one of the best of shows of the Doug Stewart Show. So stay tuned for that if you can. We really would appreciate it. We'll be back Monday. Hey, I asked you yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I asked you yesterday to give me some suggestions for the new show open. You know, I've been using Fat Joe's Lean Back over the probably the last 5 or 6 months. And I got a lot of great suggestions. I'm still taking suggestions, though. We're going to put together a new show open starting Monday on the Doug Stewart Show. So give me your suggestions for a hard-hitting, that's got to kind of have like a dramatic open, like Lean Back. And it's got to have a banging beat. Get me in the mood to talk some sports and whatever people are talking about in America, all right? All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. The easy way is just to throw some chat in the chat room, and then I'll read some of your chat on some of the things we're talking about today. Talking about NBA free agency. And we're also talking about, man, this is a summer topic. I love the summertime. A lot of people on Sports Talk Radio, they hate the summertime because there's not a lot going on, obviously. But I absolutely love the summer because I really love talking about non-sports stuff, man, you know. So this type of topic and the thing that we're talking about today with the top 5 movie sequels of all times is right up my alley. And I think y'all like doing this type of stuff too as well kind of break up the monotony of hardcore sports talk or whatever. So number 5 on my list was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Number 4 was Godfather 2. Coming in at number 3 on my list of top 5 movie sequels of all times is Back to the Future 2. Yes, sir. Love Back to the Future, man. Absolutely love Back to the Future. And I think this is one of those rare occasions that I think that the sequel was actually better than the first one. You remember who starred in this? Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd as the crazy-ass doctor. The series continues as Doc Brown travels with Marty and Jennifer to the year 2015. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? So, Back to the Future Part 2 came out in 1989. And this little bio of the movie says, Doc Brown travels with Marty and Jennifer to the year 2015. Wow, that's cute. Where he has discovered Marty's family is in ruins. Because when you alter the future, everything kind of, flips and changes or whatever. Marty buys a sports almanac containing the outcomes of 50 years worth of sporting events. However, Doc catches him and throws it in the almanac in the trash, where the 2015 Biff Tannen finds it. While Marty and Doc at Marty's 2015 house, 2015 Biff, this is kind of confusing, steals the DeLorean time machine and gives the book to his 1955 self just before he goes to the dance at the end of the first movie. Tremendous. Tremendous. Now, if you're a youngin', in any of these movies I talk about today, you should go back and watch them if you haven't seen the first or the second ones in these particular movies and the sequels I'm talking about. But this is a real good one. And I really could have put this at number 1, but you kind of understand why I got it at number 3 in a second. I easily could have put it at number 2. Number 3 and number 2 are very interchangeable to me as far as which ones I like the best. But yeah, so Back to the Future 2, man. You remember that storyline that I just talked about just now. Fantastic movie. Great movie. Another one of those movies where I go back and if it comes on right now, I'll watch it right now. I will watch it right now. So yeah, Back to the Future 2 comes in at number 3 for me on my list of top 5 movie sequels of all times. All right, so Kevin Love, here's a question I got for y'all, and I want to ask y'all this. Do you remember, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, do you remember when LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami? One of the biggest arguments everybody was saying, the LeBron James supporters, and at that time I was a hater, and I'll tell you why in particular with this conversation here in a second. You remember one of the big things why everybody said that they were okay with LeBron leaving and they understood was because they could never attract free agents to come to Cleveland and play with LeBron. You remember that? Oh, nobody's going to go to Cleveland. Nobody's going to go to Cleveland. And cats would argue me down profusely. And I would say, listen, it doesn't work like that, man. It doesn't work where the best player in the game has to uproot his family and leave the organization to go play with another superstar. It has never historically worked like that. Oh, but Stu, nobody's going to go play in Cleveland. What you got to say now? What you got to say now? Okay, not only talking about Kevin Love coming there this year, you could talk about Jones, the shooting guard from Miami that came and played with LeBron this year. There was talk that Ray Allen was going to do it. Not only that, you can even go back to when he was at Cleveland. They had free agents to come there. They just didn't work out. Okay, so that whole thing to me was bunk. That whole argument about you can't get – the way it works is if you're the best, cats want to come play with you. That's the way it used to work, or that's the way it's supposed to work, and I still believe it does work, and as evidence right now, does work, okay? And, nobody's going to come to Cleveland, which I understand. Cleveland's not the greatest city in the world. My wife's from that area. I get it, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Cleveland compared to Miami, it's not a comparison, but it traditionally, historically hadn't worked like that. And my big beef, my big problem with LeBron and the decision and him leaving Cleveland to go play in Miami with Dwayne Wade, who was another megastar at the time, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, is, to me, I personally thought that what LeBron did was beneath him. I did, and I've said this many times before. I gave him credit and already had him on the status and on the level and heading in the direction of one of the all-time greats. And I just thought it was beneath him to leave Cleveland, where they were trying to put a team around him and go play with another superstar. Me and the studio audience thought that was crazy. And Kevin Love re-ups with the Cleveland Cavaliers, 5 years, $110 million. They could pay him more than anybody else. You know about that. But he also decided to stay in Cleveland as a free agent. So that whole argument about you can't get free agents to come play with LeBron in Cleveland, it's not true. And this proves it. Outside of the several free agents that they got to come and play with him this past year, where they went to an NBA Finals, now a guy that had the opportunity, you know how incredible that is? A guy that had the opportunity, that played basketball in L.A. in college, he had the opportunity to go there and really, in effect, be the big guy, the number one guy on that team, probably right now, because Kobe's not going to give you what he's given you throughout his career. He's 3 injuries deep in past 3 seasons and injuries. And Kobe's not going to be the same Kobe. You, in effect, if you're Kevin Love, you could have gone to L.A. and probably been the man. You probably would have got more minutes than anybody else on the team. You'd have been the guy, and he decided to stay in Cleveland. So all you people with that excuse, nobody's going to stay and play in Cleveland, what you got to say now, you jive time turkey? I went old school on y'all ass just now, jive time turkeys. From J.B. Jennings, they had to give DeMar that much because of the high taxes in Toronto. That's why, if you're smart, you will play in Texas or Florida for no state taxes. Maybe that did have a little bit to do with it. But maybe the principle, I kind of believe that the principle of giving DeMar Carroll that type of money is ridiculous. I mean, it's unbelievable. From that ninja, Doug, from this point forward, your list is irrelevant. What? What do you mean that ninja? Because of The Godfather. I told you people feel real strong. They feel some type of way about that Godfather movie. That's fine. That's my list. From ducking and dodging, there's plenty of money to go around. Oh, obviously there's plenty of money to go around. And that's the other part of this. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Don't cry too many tears for these owners and for these teams. I mean, these cats are very well-established business people. And if they're giving these cats this money, they got it. It's as simple as that. It just sounds real weird to give Paul Millsap damn near $20 million a year. It's just unbelievable to me. From Stagger Lee, WTF, $15 million for that bum. I wouldn't call DeMar Carroll a bum. $15 million, though, is ridiculous. I mean, it's as simple as that. From Fatboy McCoon, if you don't think LaMarcus Aldridge passed on the Lakers because of Kobe, you should get the BPA. I think if I had to put a percentage on it, as far as Kobe Bryant and everything that's wrong with the Lakers organization, with the front office right now, I'd probably put it at like 50-50. I do believe these cats do feel some type of way about Kobe Bryant and, reportedly the type of guy that he has been throughout his career. But I also think that a big problem is that it seems like that the young Buss doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Genie Buss, and there's just a turmoil between them and their relationship in the organization and cats that want to sign with the team. From that ninja, Priest Jungle, Aldridge didn't like the management and a franchise that currently sucks. Blame it on the ninja, and every dumbass follows suit. Think for yourself. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. From Fatboy McCoon, if I'm going to L.A., I'm playing for the Clippers. What? That's blasphemy. If you say that sentence, it sounds like blasphemy. He says a legit contender, not the sorry-ass Lakers to play with an old-ass, demanding ball hog Kobe. F you. Oh, my gosh. From Dollars and Cents, he says, why haven't you gotten a top free agent since Shaq? Has Gasol given to the Lakers? And I don't understand that. That's all disjointed. But I guess he's saying ever since Shaq left the Lakers, they haven't gotten a big free agent outside of Paul Gasol. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. And I don't know if Paul Gasol, even going back to Shaq, if these cats is like throwing some salt on the organization and how they run things, that might have something to do with it as well. I mean, word travels from what we understand, from what I've heard for many, many years, is that the NBA is a real tight-knit community, which is another problem. A lot of these cats play on different teams, but they cool. They boys. They go out and they hang out together, and they talk. And so right now, it's just bad for the Lakers, man. But if Chris Paul would have been there, none of this would be happening. None of it. None of this would be happening, man. All right, more NBA free agency talk. We're talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. getting that money. And also, at some point, I got to talk about this Rick Ross thing. Rick Ross going to jail forever. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
If you're not stewing, what in the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. This is hour number 2. I forgot to say that at the top of the hour. Be careful out there this weekend, man, for your 4th of July holiday. And I mean that sincerely from the Doug Stewart Show. I'm going to read more of your chat here in a second. At some point, we're going to quickly talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. And also, I got to talk briefly as well about this Rick Ross situation, man. Rick Ross going to jail for a long time. I mean, you can kind of tell he going to jail probably forever. And it's a sad, sad story because he did it to himself. We'll get into that here in a second. But we're also talking about the top 5 movie sequels of all times. I'm giving you my top 5 movie sequels of all times. Number 5 on my list is Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Number 4 is Godfather 2. Coming in at number 3 is Back to the Future 2. And the number 2 movie sequel of all times is Die Hard 2. Now, I know that ninja right now is probably beside himself. He mentioned he's mad at me because my list is already messed up, and I had Godfather 2 as the 4th best sequel of all times. I put Die Hard 2, which is one of my favorite movies of all times, at number 2 on my list. Die Hard 2 was probably one of the first movies where I came out of the movie theater and says, man, that was almost as good, or maybe that was even better than the first one. I didn't have the concept of even, comparing, sequels to the first ones probably before this Die Hard 2. And then I maybe started back thinking about some of the other movies I'd seen before this, and then subsequently after, and started making those comparisons. But if you remember in Die Hard 2, Bruce Willis played the character McClane or whatever. The second film takes place a year after the first, again on Christmas Eve. Now, that is kind of hokey. That is kind of hokey how both of these movies, both of these traumatic incidences happen on Christmas Eve. But anyway, it's in Washington, D.C. McClane waits for his wife at Washington Dulles International Airport. Mercenaries led by former U.S. Army Special Forces Colonel Stewart take over the airport communication systems, stranding planes in the air, including the ones with McClane's wife. He wants to free a captured Latin American dictator. En route to the airport, McClane discovers the plan, including a conspiracy between Stewart and an Army counterterrorist unit to stop him. He foils their plans and provides a visual landing signal for the circling aircraft, get it out, by exploding the villain's getaway plane. So Die Hard number 2 comes in at number 2 on my list of top 5 sequels of all times. Absolutely love the Die Hard franchise, man. Let me see how many of these movies I've seen. So let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been 5 Die Hard movies. I think I've seen them all. I may not have seen the last one. Once again, kind of getting watered down after the third one. Definitely after the third one. A lot of times after the second one. But, yeah. I absolutely love that movie, man. If you've seen the Die Hard movies, man, 1, 2, 3, 2 in particular, man, just a fantastic movie. Great action. I like action movies. And you talk about action in these Die Hard movies? I mean, literally and figuratively, McClane dies hard, man. It's hard to die for him. All right, so there you are. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstreetshow.com. Floyd Mayweather Jr., and you remember all of the conversation about Mayweather after the Pacquiao fight and how much money he would stand to make. He's going to earn almost as much as for 36 minutes in the ring. And this is a quote from the Puppet Factory. I'm reading straight first line, which I thought this was very cool when I saw this. He made in $36 million this year in the one fight against Pacquiao more than, or almost as much as Tim Duncan has made in his 18 years of playing basketball. Well done, Floyd Mayweather Jr. $235 million Floyd made on this fight. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess I'm cynical like that, man. All I start doing when I see a guy making that much money is saying to myself how much he's going to have to give to Uncle Sam, and it's kind of depressing. So he made $235 million. He's going to have to give, what, $70, $80 million to the government? That hurts. That hurts. Now, I guess we shouldn't even dwell on that. Congratulations to Floyd Mayweather Jr. And it's funny the way time passes and how people used to talk before the fact and after. A couple of months after Floyd Mayweather Jr. just dominates Manny Pacquiao. You remember for the many, many years, everybody called Floyd Mayweather chicken. They talked about how the man couldn't read. 50 Cent said the man couldn't read. Oh, yeah, I saw last night's latest episode of Power as well. Bravo to Power. I think the show got better this year. Last night I saw the episode where Lala took off her top, which I still got an issue with that if I'm Carmelo. But it was good. But, yeah, many, many years people scoffed at Mayweather. Why would he leave Top-Ranked Boxing and Bob Arum? This is not the way that boxing is done. He can't beat Manny Pacquiao. He's scared of Pacquiao. And a couple of months after the fact, we realize and it's revealed that Floyd Mayweather, at the end of the day, is going to walk away with over $230 million. And he did it his way. How'd that song go? I did it my way. And if you're out there wondering why I haven't sung anything today, man, nothing really inspired me. There were no music artists' birthdays today, anything like that. So nothing really inspired me. And I do this whole thing on personal inspiration. So there was nothing that really inspired me to sing today. So I'm probably not, unless something hits the fan where I want to sing for you the next 30 minutes. I'm probably not going to sing a song for you today. So I apologize. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that little Frank Sinatra, I think it was, that you just got just now, My Way, I mean, that's going to have to suffice for today. But congratulations to Floyd, man. That's an incredible day at work. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. From Grego in the chat room. He says, Kobe dry snitched on Shaq. Gasol wanted to go because they suck. And Howard is a bitch. Yeah. I appreciate that, Grego. That's a good one right there. From Dollars and Cents, why did Howard leave for less money? Because of what Grego just said. It's as simple as that. From Fatboy McCoon, he passed because of Kobe. Who wants to play with an aging Kobe and a talentless roster? From Dollars and Cents, why did Gasol leave the Lakers instead of resigning? From That Ninja Dollars, you do realize that getting a pass because someone likes you is called being immoral. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. From Picola Q, I'm watching The Wire for the first time. I'm on season 4, episode 4. What? Oh, man, congratulations to you. The best TV series in the history of TV. What do you think about it? So season 4, if my memory serves me correct, season 4 was the Kids, I believe, where they focused on the school system in Baltimore, where you had a bunch of new characters introduced. Season 4 was great. Season 4 was fantastic. So, yeah, congratulations to you for watching The Wire for the first time after 10 years. I think The Wire's been off TV for maybe 2005, 2006. It's been off. The series stopped many, many years ago. Absolutely love The Wire. If you know anything about me, I talk about that series all the time. Just tremendous writing, tremendous acting, tremendous TV in general. Let me see. From Vince Wright, he says Savalas is back. What up? Savalas, where you been at, brother? Thank you. Welcome back. You've been missing out. I mean, you've been missing out on my singing and all of the shenanigans in the chat room between the listeners, the Stewies, and Tree. And you've been missing out on a lot of stuff, brother. We still doing our thing around here, man. As a matter of fact, tell somebody about the Doug Stewart Show, man. Make sure you tell at least one person about the show. We have a great time around here, don't we? I mean, pass the love. Give the gift of the Doug Stewart Show. I really would appreciate it. Tell one person a day. And also, man, donate to the show as well. If you donate $20 or more, we'll send you your own first run edition of the Doug Stewart Show t-shirt. We really do appreciate that. So $20 or more, go to thedougstewartshow.com, click on the donate button, and donate to the show, man. Donate to independent radio, to my radio, to my kids eating. All right, when we get back from the break, man, We'll continue to read chat. We'll continue to talk about these sports. And I'm also going to talk about Rick Ross, man, and the latest on that situation here in the ATL. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes!
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I'd been talking about red rice, frogmore stew. Another one on the list, on number 13 on this list, is peanuts taste better boiled. Yes. And as God is my witness, my wife did not know people boiled peanuts and ate them. She did not. My wife's from Ohio. And yes, boiled peanuts, if cooked right, are the bomb.
Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
All right, so I got to clear something up. And I don't even know why anybody's mind would even work like this, but evidently it's becoming a topic of conversation. In the last segment, I was talking about boiled peanuts, okay, that come from out of the ground, not boiled peanuts. And so, evidently there's some talk in the chat room about Doug talking about boiled man parts. No, peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts, okay? What is it, P-E-A-N-U-T-S? Peanuts. No, man, not boiled peanuts. Come on, man. And I see Vern in here. Damn you, Vern. Ugh. Y'all know what the hell I was saying. This is the Doug Stewart Show. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. Shouts out to all of the Stewies out there. This segment is brought to you by Primerica. In life, things happen good and bad, and being prepared is always important. So if you're like me, father and protector of this family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place for their family in case of an emergency or a tragic event. So what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172. And make sure and tell him that Doug Stewart told you to call him. All right, can you make sure of that? So today we've been talking about the top 5 movie sequels of all times. Number 5 on my list was Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Number 4 was Godfather 2. Number 3 was Back to the Future. Number 2 was Die Hard. And number 1 is, I'll tell you in a second. So stay tuned to that. I wanted to quickly, man, get y'all thoughts on what's going on with Rick Ross. If you've not heard this story, Rick Ross finally got out of jail a week after getting arrested for assault and kidnapping. But here's what he had to come up with to get out of jail. He had to come up with $1 million equity from the ex-Holyfield mansion he owns, which they say is worth like $5 million, but they're only going to give him credit for like $1 million. Let me say this before I even read any more of this. I am very pleasantly surprised at how much loot Rick Ross had. I mean, I'm serious about this. I tend to think that these rappers, and maybe I'm wrong, I tend to think that outside of like Jay-Z and Puffy, the cats that are actually signing checks or whatever, that these rappers are really just faking the funk. They're not really rich like this. They just, they flashing, like they were saying in the Low Country. But Rick Ross had some money. At his bond hearing in Fayetteville, Georgia, the judge okayed his release once he paid a $2 million bond, which he scraped together from a few places, $1 million equity from his ex-Holyfield mansion he owns in another Georgia property, $500,000 surety bond, and $500,000 in cash out of his own pocket. I mean, that's tremendous. I mean, $500,000 cash, in relative terms to big stars or whatever, that doesn't seem like a lot. But to a rapper, I think that's tremendous, man. So good for him on that. Ross's attorney also promised his client would hand over the entire Holyfield property to the county if he intimidates or threatens any witnesses. If you don't know this story, Rick Ross, the rapper, allegedly pistol whipped his groundskeeper who lives on the property because I think the way it reads is the groundskeeper, had like a party in his house while dude wasn't there. And so that's a no-no. So he's got to wear one of those GPS ankle monitors. And also there's some other little provisions. Like for some reason they feel like that this cat really might make a run for the border. And Rick Ross actually worked in law enforcement before he became a rapper, which is kind of ironic that's the case and all of the content that he talks about in his music. But they're really scared that this guy is some type of flight risk. So they're going to watch him. But if you know the details of the story, he's been in jail for what? Over a month? Wait a minute. No, it's not a month. He's only been in jail for about a week and a half. But you would think for something like this with a person of his status, he would be able to get out of jail much quicker. Based on some of the details of this story and how there are actually witnesses, and another part of the story is the guy that he beat up, he pistol whipped, he actually put the gun to his chest, allegedly, and said that if he told anybody what he did to him, that he would kill him, and he threatened to kill the dude. So the guy evidently got some courage after it was all said and done, after he got away from dude, and went and told the police. The details of this story, I don't see how he's not going to do some real time. I mean some real time. And it's sad. And once again, I talked about it earlier this week when we talked about Warren Sapp, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. With that status, I mean, you got it going on. Let's be honest. You got $500,000 cash under your mattress. With that status and that money, you didn't have to do this. So if you did something like this, and it looks like it's the deal, once again, it's not convicted of anything yet. If he did do this, then the only possible explanations for it could be, the only thing it could be is drugs. To quote my grandmother, R.I.P., to quote the great Mary Rivers, and her name was Marie. It is pronounced, I mean, most people pronounce it Marie, but back in the Low Country, we pronounced it Marie. The great Mary Rivers would say the only explanation is drugs. And Rick Ross always talking about this Molly and all this stuff in his music or whatever. So, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Why would you do something like this? I mean, just shake it off. Yeah, just fire the guy. You had a party at my house or whatever, and or we had this party and you invited your people and I told you not to do it or whatever the case may be, the exact details of it. I mean, so what? You Rick Ross. You one of the top names in music today, not just hip hop, but music today. I mean, you've had like a gazillion remixes. You always on somebody's tracks over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, you hot as fish grease right now. Why would you care? Just fire the guy. Tell him you don't want to ever see him around your property again. And tell him to get to getting. You know, why would you go to the extreme of pistol whipping a dude? He's your groundskeeper, for God's sake. The only plausible explanation is drugs. I'm not saying that's a fact, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. R.I.P. to my grandmama. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Jungle Brother, he says, newsflash, all you mofos thinking Aldridge really passed up the Lakers because of Kobe. Nominate your dumbass for a BPA and post your contact info so I can sell you your stupid ass some gasoline you can put in your car that won't evaporate. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't think that the majority reason, I said 50-50 earlier, maybe even a little bit less to that, maybe 60-40, the fact that the Lakers just don't have a good team, the organization is in flux right now. But I do believe Kobe's probably part of it because of his reputation, because probably other players in the league are bad-mouthing dude, and deservedly so for a lot of stuff. Kobe is a jerk. I mean, I've acknowledged that. Whenever I talk about Kobe Bryant, I talk about the Lakers, I talk about Kobe the player, not Kobe the guy off the court. Not the guy that took his own damn mama to court over some real estate. The guy that dry snitched on Shaq, or not dry snitch, he did snitch on Shaq. I'm not talking about that guy. I wouldn't want to go out and have a beer with Kobe Bryant, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. But Kobe Bryant on the floor, man, wants excellence. I mean, he wants perfection. He wants to win a ring. And if you don't want to play with Kobe, man, that says a lot about you because you think Kobe going to drive you too hard. From Stagger Lee, Savalas, you're a Cowboy fan. I will take your word. I don't know exactly what they were discussing. From dollars and cents, everybody gambles. Even fantasy football is gambling. Gambling field does what everybody else does, and he is nice to the media. It just goes to show if you are a good guy, you will get a pass from the media for the most part. Did y'all see that story? Some of you that follow me on Facebook, I posted it on my Facebook account, and you do need to follow the Doug Stewart Show on Facebook before or when we end today's show. But I posted this story, and I can't remember the name of the writer, and I don't have my Facebook account up right now. The guy, in effect, is like slandering, dry snitching, I can use that term again, Russell Wilson. And I just don't understand it, man. It doesn't make any sense at all. For some reason, now that Russell Wilson is up for a contract, there's a problem with him getting his money. It wasn't a problem when you gave, any of these quarterbacks over the last couple of years all of this ridiculous type of money. The man took you to 2 Super Bowls. Should have won 2 Super Bowls if it wasn't for Pete Carroll's punk ass. Get a man his money. Why is it a problem right now? The story, in effect, was saying how nobody likes Russell Wilson anymore. What grown-ass man makes that statement? And I think it was kind of tongue-in-cheek. But don't be messing with my money. When you're talking about the guy's personality and about his character, and you putting it, on paper, I mean, you messing with my money. I would be very upset if I was Russell Wilson. The problem I got is, once again, is you giving all these lame-ass quarterbacks or guys that I would consider average these big deals, and now Russell Wilson wants his money, and whether he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that a lot of these guys, once again, in the whole theme of these NBA free agents, are worth a lot of the money that they're getting. And, yeah, Seattle has a great team and a great defense, and you can make an argument that that's the real reason why they've been so successful over the last couple of years. But no, the precedent has been set. You are successful as an NFL quarterback. You're young like Russell Wilson. You should get your money. So now, this is a great example for some of these other players. They need to understand, they don't love you. They don't love you. They do not love you, man. Russell Wilson got to get his money. And if I was him, I wouldn't think twice. If this thing really gets contentious and they going back and forth and they trying to discredit this man's character, I wouldn't think twice about going to another team. Why not? If you can get more money somewhere else, damn Seattle. Pay that man his money. All right, we get back, man. I'll tell you my number one movie sequel of all time. We'll wrap up today's show. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. Man, it pisses me off. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you. So they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. So tomorrow, man, we're going to play a best of show. Tune in if you can. If you don't, I get it. We'll be back Monday, live and in effect, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time on the Doug Stewart Show. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Had a lot of fun today, as we do every day. As we do every day. Talking about sports, entertainment, whatever dudes is talking about. Passionate opinions. A lot of your chat. You're totally interactive with the show, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Remember, you can donate to the show. $20 or more. We send you your very own first run edition of the Doug Stewart Show T-shirt. All right. When you donate, also in the little remarks or the remarks section, man, put what size shirt you wear or whatever, and we'll try to get it to you. I know there's a couple guys out there that are waiting for us to order our next set of shirts because they need a double or a triple X. First off, I say that you guys need to get in the gym a little bit. Second of all, we're coming with the shirts, with the second order of shirts here soon. We got a couple more left we need to get rid of. But thank you so much, man, for donating to the show, believing in the show, and passing the word about TDSS, the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much. That's the DougStewartShow.com. All right, so top 5 movie sequels of all times in honor of the trailer I saw, the new Rocky movie, Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan, as well as Just heard that there's going to be a remake / sequel to Roots starring Lawrence Fishburne. I started thinking about remakes and sequels, and so we're talking about the top 5 movie sequels of all times. Number 5 on my list was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Number 4 was Godfather 2. Number 3 was Back to the Future. Number 2 was Die Hard. And coming in at number 1 on my list of top 5 movie sequels of all times is I love when I do that, is The Empire Strikes Back. All right, now, I got to stop here for a second. Now, I know a lot of you probably just ran off the road. I know a lot of y'all probably just ran off the road because I put The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars movie, at the top of my list for top 5 sequels of all times. Something you may not have known about me, and I'm going to kind of reveal to you today in a very personal moment, is I'm probably the closest thing to a black Trekkie that you'll find in this country, in this world. I absolutely love Star Trek. I love the Star Wars trilogy, more than a trilogy now. How many movies have they done? But I love those space-type movies, man. I always read stuff on aliens and things like that. So I just think that's cool. And, man, when I was growing up, man, and we saw Star Wars, that's one of the earliest movies. And what year did Star Wars come out? Star Wars came out in 1977. So in 77, I was, 8 years old? And that was like the biggest thing since sliced bread. And, I mean, it was. But I vividly remember, and I've gone back, and this is one of the movies that I've seen a couple of times. I mentioned yesterday how I don't go back and watch movies after the first time I see it. This is one of the movies that I went back and watched a couple of times, subsequently after the original came out. So Star Wars came out in 1977. The Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. Okay, 1980. And I still, till this day, remember that being probably, in my mind, I thought, man, this is better than the first one. It was tremendous, man. The years after the Death Star, the Rebel Alliance, the Galactic Empire, Darth Vader, and all of that stuff, man, still was going on in The Empire Strikes Back. I think this is the biggest grossing movie of all time, or series, or trilogy, or whatever. But yeah, The Empire Strikes Back, I mean, how you not gonna give love to The Empire Strikes Back, man, into Luke Skywalker and them cats, man? The number 1 movie trilogy of all times. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, sir. How many movies did they do total? So, Empire 1, The Phantom Menace. Okay, you remember they came back a couple of years ago and started doing these prequels before the original Star Wars. So, Episode 1, Episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, they've done 7 movies. I think that I stopped watching after Revenge of the Sith, which was Episode 3. Yeah, I saw Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace. I might have seen all of these movies. The naming kind of confuses me as far as which is which. But, yeah, Empire Strikes Back, the second movie in the Star Wars franchise, comes in at number 1 on my list of movie sequels of all times. All right, honorable mentions. Men in Black 2. I love Men in Black 2. Spider-Man 2, which was tremendous. Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, is an honorable mention for me as well. The Dark Knight, which is very good. And also, man, Kill Bill, episode number 2 of Kill Bill was tremendous. You talk about bloody and fight scenes. I mentioned a couple of days ago how Kingsman had the greatest fight scene in the history of movies in that movie. Kill Bill isn't too far behind in some of the fight scenes in that second, in both Kill Bills, really. But the second one in particular was really, really gory. I mean, a lot of killing, A lot of the dudes' heads got sliced off. I mean, just very, very gory, but that was a great sequel as well. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You got a couple minutes left to get into the Doug Stewart Show. Let me read a little bit more of your chat here, and thank you so much for the chat. I really do appreciate it. Who do we got here? From Scotty. What up, Scotty? He says, Doug, I almost would rather hear you sing than you speak Laker BS. On second thought, keep singing. Scotty, you a wild boy. You funny, Scotty. I mean, who wouldn't rather hear me sing than talk about the Lakers? You funny. You a funny cat, man. From that ninja, we know Phil gave $3 million. Scotty's crazy. We know Phil gave $3 million to an illegal gambling ring. He gets the benefit of the doubt, and Aldridge is scared. No, we don't know that ninja. That's the story out there. Phil is I don't know the exact how Phil is, whether he's denying it or not denying or whatever, but he hadn't been charged for anything, first of all. And we're talking basketball. We're not talking golf, period, right now. Nobody's not holding Phil Mickelson accountable. I mean, we just need to get more details on that story as far as I'm concerned. From Savalas, Stagger, I'm in 41 now. I'm 41 now. The Lakers have probably had about 5 losing seasons in my lifetime. I think we'll be all right. And I agree with that. I mean, at some point, this thing is going to turn around. I always talk about, I remember the Del Harris years and how difficult it was, and then we turned it around, man. We turned it around. You know, got Shaq, got Kobe, and then after that, even when Shaq left, you know, they got Pau Gasol, and everything worked itself out. They won a couple of rings with that group of players. So it'll be all right. From Eugene Jackson, Doug, the Lakers have company striking out with free agents. The Knicks can't get anybody either. That's the only, you know, bright spot about this whole thing, you know, is that even though the Lakers are struggling right now, the Knicks still suck too. Yeah. I mean, it'd be really bad if the Lakers were bad right now and the Knicks were on the upswing, but that's not the case. It really has never been the case over the last 40 years. From ducking and dodging, Lakers history doesn't mean anything to the current players. They want to hear about the future, not the past. And that's the sad thing about this whole thing. Cats don't have no recognition of history and greatness. From Grego. So let's suppose LeBron hits the wall, a father time, an uncle injury. Being that he has to play even harder with the Cavs, will people keep running to him? No, probably not. But that's how it works. If LeBron's not the same LeBron, or when LeBron stops being the dominant player that he's been in the NBA, yeah, that the decrease of free agents wanting to go play with him probably will decrease. That's how it works. Yeah, we're talking about LeBron James as the player he's been over the last couple of years. That's what we're talking about. From dollars and cents, nobody in their right mind would go to a job and work with an a-hole and make the same money when they can go to the same job to make the same money and enjoy their teammates and have a steady management team. What does enjoy their teammates mean? In effect, that sounds like code for play with players that aren't going to hold them as accountable. And that's a cop-out, man. And I think that's bootleg. Yes, sir. It's bootleg. That's an indictment. That is an indictment on the young athlete today. Okay? If you're saying that they'd rather go to another team just because the players are nicer to them in practice, that's an indictment on today's athlete, man. I hope that's not the case. Seems like that's the case with some of these players and going to play with the Lakers over the last couple of years. That's what it seems like. And that's just real. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining me today, man. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I couldn't sing for you today. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll be back on Monday with some tunes for you, man. Thank you so much for joining me. Shouts out to Tree on her vacation. She'll be back on Monday. Shouts out to Waterhead Walter. Thank you, Walter, for doing what you do. Dwayne Vasson, Gerald Oliveri, thank you so much, man. And a big shouts out to you, the listeners, the Stewies of the Doug Stewart Show, man. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. We do. Love the Stewies, man. Hey, if you can, man, donate $20 to the show. $20 or more, we will send you your very own Doug Stewart Show T-shirt. Pass the word. Tell people about the show. We would appreciate that as well. We'll do it again Monday. Same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Peace.